Thank you so much for joining us for today's August Ona Highlight with our special guests, Wes Carlton and Dale Carlton from the Florida Cattlemen's Association.
Good morning. My family and the Adams, uh, Bud Adams, Alto Adams family brought the first cattle and first school teacher to St. Lucie County, and that's where we started ranching and growing citrus. A few years ago, as the citrus problems hit the citrus industry, we threw in the towel, and now we are completely out of the citrus business. We now are still just commercial beef cows. We do a little bit of farming, row crop farming, and some perennial peanut hay. Myself, I'm a fourth generation cattleman. My family and I still run the operation. It's my wife and my son, my sister, and my mom still helps as well. Growing up, my dad was involved with FCA, and he drove my sister and I along to Cattlemen's Quarterlies and a lot of different IFAS events. That's how I learned about Ona, and we're friends with Dr. Pate at his tenure here, and a lot of good memories and good times with Dr. Pate. After high school, attended ABAC in Georgia, Abraham Baldwin Agriculture College. Got a degree in ag econ and animal science both. This year, my pound sign, aka hashtag, is preserving our heritage and preserving our lands. Dale, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Good morning. I'm Dale Carlton, FCA's first vice president. A little bit about myself and my family. I'm 8th generation Floridian, 6th generation rancher. I have 3 boys. My sister has a daughter and a son. So we have the 7th generation very plugged into our very family-oriented family business. 4 of the 5 are involved in our business. The other one, he's still in high school, so but he still will work. And my niece's husband is involved as well. And we also have the 8th generation, so to speak, on the ground. I have a 17-month-old grandson with another one on the way, and I have a great niece that is probably 20 months. So we're excited about that. We run a cow-calf operation that spreads across 3 counties, RD, DeSoto, and Highlands County. We have some small diversification and some citrus, a little bit of sod, and a little bit of hay, but cattle is mainly what we do. That's about what we know. And like I've already said, it's a very much a family affair with us, and we're very, very blessed for that to be the situation. It is back to you.
I'm going to start with talking a little bit about FCA. Cattlemen Association was started in 1934. It was started to promote Florida cattlemen and promote their products statewide and nationally. A little bit about the structure of FCA. The officer leadership team starts out as secretary, which is Steve Yoder from North Florida, treasurer John Williamson from Okeechobee County. Rick Moyer is second vice president of, he's from up around the Ocala, Williston area. And then Dale Carlton, first vice president from right here in Hardy County. Pat Durden is president-elect from also up in North Florida in the Panhandle. Myself, and then the immediate past president, Cliff Coddington, and I'd like to say thank you to Cliff for his leadership this past year, and hopefully I can continue all his good work. FCA staff, starting with Jim Hanley. Jim is a great asset to our association, and he works tirelessly for everyone. He is on the road constantly. Dusty Holly as well. Dusty works very, very hard. He does a lot with the leadership, the FCLA. We'll get into that a little bit later. And then from the Beef Council, Miss Deanne Maples. Deanne is a awesome person, and her talents and her experiences in marketing and promoting are at a extremely professional level. I think we are very, very blessed to have her talents promoting our beef and our beef industry. She's probably she is, in my opinion, one of the most talented in the United States. And then we're also very fortunate. A few years ago, we hired Miss Benita Whalen to help us with all the ongoing water issues throughout the state. She is also a very valuable asset in all the problems we've had in South Florida. But everyone needs to realize those problems are going to be statewide. So everybody needs to be watching and realizing that we've got to keep an eye on numerous different water issues. And Benita's there to help everyone. So anybody that has a problem anywhere in the state with any water issues, she's available. Sam Ard has been with the association for a long time. He watches over our legislative concerns or any laws that may affect us or hurt us in Tallahassee, and has done us a good job for a long time. And not really a slate of the officers or staff, but one thing I want to bring up under that topic is our Junior Cattlemen's Association. I think that's extremely important. Ms. Stephanie Conrad leads that group of young men and women and does a fantastic job with that. We don't ever need to overlook our youth and bringing them up and educating them. We have to have that resource. Stop there. Any questions on the association or how it's set up? I did forget there's the state split up into 5 different districts throughout the state, and then each county elects a director. The director goes to the 4 annual quarterly meetings. They bring any concerns from the counties to the state level, and then it can be acted on before the board. Any questions on association or how it's set up?
When do you meet?
We meet 4 times a year, and that's the public meetings, and everyone is welcome to come to the public meetings. We would ask that every member come and give their voice. That's how we're heard. And then, of course, the officer teams on almost daily meetings, sometimes weekly for sure. Any other questions? Moving on, did I go out of order? Okay. Moving on, the relationship between the Cattlemen Association and the University of Florida in my lifetime, I think we have a very, very good and have had a very good relationship with all the researchers. I think Florida is very fortunate to have that relationship from a cattleman standpoint. I can go back to my grandfather, and he and Dr. Kretschmer and several others were always planting and trying different grasses, and Dr. Pate, while you're growing up with him. And then you travel around the country and look at what other states do or don't do. I just think our relationship with the university is second to none. The Cattlemen, one of our big things we watch or try to help the university with is to secure funding for the university, and I think we've been very, very successful at that over the years. we do one of the things, going back to Governor Scott, we got the Cattle Enhancement Board, which is money that's earmarked for research, education, development. The biggest part of that funding runs through the University of Florida, and most of the research ends up with the University of Florida. I think this year we got 40 some proposed projects. We always have more projects than we have money for. I think that's a good thing. The outreach that IFAS helps us with, some of their agents scattered around the state are also rock stars, and the educational programs that they put on, whether it's for cattlemen, for the youth, or the cattle women, all of those are always good and I believe very beneficial. And I'll turn it over to Dale or any questions on any of our relationships, or I'd like to hear y'all's thoughts on that. There's a board, and those projects are brought before the board, and then the people that present the projects will even come speak and present their projects, and then it goes through a selection process from there. You want to add to that?
No, you're doing a good job. We're ready for the legislative side.
Any other questions?
Here at the research center, the Cattlemen is our neighbors. We have research centers that work for people, but we are focused on the union and the Cattlemen, so all of the most of them that we do, and I hope that we can, be the best working.
Thank you. We need to remain a team. I mean, y'all do very good, and it's helped in many ways. I mean, not every project works, but that's why we do them, to find out. And you guys can save us a lot of money too in learning those things. So thank y'all for what you do.
There was something I left off in my introduction that I might have to pull on as we go further off into this thing. My after high school education consisted of a few business classes, and then my real education, my dad was my professor. When I went to college, it just wasn't in a classroom. So as we go further along, you might be able to pick up on some of that. But on the legislative side of things at the state level, we had a very good year, we feel like, in Tallahassee. One of the main things that got done was the tax exemption on the fence, on our fencing material. And there's also some trailers that fall in that too as well. I'm not too clear on the specifics, but that was about a 7 or 8 year process that it took for that to get done, and it's a permanent law too, so it's nothing that's short term. It's here to stay, we hope, for a long time. So that was really, and that was thanks to a lot of hard work from our lobbyist in Tallahassee, Sam Ard, and of course our governor signed off on it. The other thing, Wes touched on it a little bit, but back when Henry Kemper was our president and Governor Scott was in office, I was on the executive committee, and we were going, the producers were going to add another $1 to the beef checkoff. And Henry did all kind of legwork and met and thought we had it pointed in the right direction. Well, when it got in front of the governor, he said it looked too much like a tax to him, but he still gave us being the association, $1 million. And So that was still considered a win, but not quite what we wanted, but we took it, and it's been real good. It even got as high as 1.5 million 1 year in there, but then over time through the election year, the last election and all that, it got knocked down to 750,000. And then did we not get it one year? Last year we didn't get it. So it kind of, over the last 7 or 8 years, it kind of declined on us to nothing. Well, this year we got Governor DeSantis, we got the $1 million. So back where we started from, which was a real big deal, because as he talked about earlier, most of it gets run back through UF and IFAS. So that was a big win. Wes touched on, we've already had 40 proposals for that money.
We had another question on that, if you don't mind touching on it. Dr. Moriel asks if the board has identified any research priority that has not been addressed so far. Has anything new come up?
In these new proposals you're talking about?
I guess so, yes.
I have not seen the new proposals yet.
But we did, 40 is the number we were
Yeah.
given. So it still has to be, of course, prioritized and sort of.
Okay.
Where was I? That's also on our water. We really want to give Bonita Whalen some recognition, because that's a whole nother, since my involvement in the Cattlemen, which probably been 12 or 14 years, that's a new part that has been added, as Bonita's position. And it's because obviously the development of the state that's happening, and you can get left behind real quick if you don't have somebody representing you at all, and at all those meetings. And Bonita she's right up there with Deanne, if you ask me. I mean, she's just really, Wes has spent more time with her, but she's just really, really good and representing us as an association, and for all the right reasons. But she's done a real good job. And we also want to recognize, our staff and our volunteer leaders that do a lot of work to protect the things that are in place, like our private property rights, our greenbelt taxes, and stuff like that. That has to be defended and protected every couple of years. And our people do a very, very good job. And to me, there's not enough words for the representation that Sam Ard gives us in Tallahassee. And we have, and talking about Bonita with our, expanding as an association, everything in Tallahassee has also gotten so big that we've also had to call on another lobbying group called the Southern group. Sam's the head guy, and they've done a very good job, and they've been called on too. So what's going on for our association and our industry in Tallahassee is bigger and more important now than it's ever been. And we feel like, or I do personally, that our state potentially has a great opportunity for ag to be sitting in a very good situation if the election kind of turns out like we want it to. But like Wilton Simpson with Albred and Ben, who's from Hardy County, him set hopefully to be the Senate president. And so the future is bright at a state level, I feel like, for the ag altogether, not just cow business. On a national level, NCBA, the traceability idea has been, 5 years? Mr. Griner's been working on it. But
3 years, 3 or 4 years.
And been working on getting a program in place that is accurate and that is also efficient for everybody. And also, I mean, like Wes and I were talking earlier, the traceability thing is only going to become more and more important to the producers and our association as time goes on. Like you can track a single tomato, and we're going to need to be able to track everything that leaves our commerce. So I'm just gonna read this as on a national level, there, you know, the whole price discovery thing has been a topic, and the Florida Cattlemen has stated that Florida Cattlemen Association does not support governmental intervention in the business decision of the cattle industry, mandated levels of trade and live cattle marketing. And that's something that's been going on for 2 or 3 years, trying to get the whole price discovery thing where everybody's benefiting instead of just one part or the other. And that's a constant battle that's been going on as long as I can remember paying attention to stuff like that. So. And of course, we need to pay attention to the farm bill and the what's that act?
The farm bill is a big one. We just need to monitor that and make sure there's good common sense used in that, and they don't change or pull anything out that could affect us with the farm bill. And then the other one, I think that crucial for South Florida is the hour of service on our trucks. That we continue getting those waivers for livestock. There's no way we can send cattle out of here and do the new electronic logbooks as it's required. That would be very detrimental to livestock.
I got one legislative thing.
Any questions on legislation? Anybody from the crowd? Nobody's a politician? I'll talk a little bit about the,
We haven't had an update in a little while, so that usually means not really. It's kind of, I don't think it's dead, but I don't think it's got much movement right now. Yeah.
any other questions?
So. You mentioned that you're trying to get a
No, that's how it started.
That's right.
Okay.
You think there's anything to that back or? What are your thoughts?
My personal thoughts, I mean, I think it would be great if every producer added $1, $2. I mean, we've got to have the research. I mean, you know, always think back just in our careers, how much things have changed. Environment's changing, water's changing. Look how dry it is now. I mean, I think we've got to have this to continue on. I don't know whether you would ever get that passed. I think it would depend on the governor. I think like it is right now, I think it's working, and it's a very good, we're blessed to have that. I mean, it helps all of us. It helps every producer.
Where it got confusing for a lot of us is when the governor saw it as a tax. And like, I feel like if there's a correct amount of education, if we try to push that again, like if they're caught up to speed on, I mean, because it was like he missed that it's really $1 out of the producer's pocket. We weren't trying, it wasn't, and all producers were, you know, we were going to all be on the same page, and it just seemed like it was easier for him to give us the money than, and Henry and the staff had done a bunch of legwork for like if he voted on it to agree to it, that we were ready to start getting it into getting it working, and it got just shut down. I think it's a great idea. I think that's what we need to do, so that potentially it would we would have a certain amount of money coming in. We wouldn't be waiting on if the governor's going to pass it or veto it, and that's the part where it gets. If it was we add to the checkoff, we wouldn't be having to worry about that.
Now, I'd take a step farther. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't agree with the checkoff. But I think those people that don't agree need to go spend an hour with Deanne or any other of the state council reps. I mean, if you just watch what she does, and now with computer technology, I listened to Deanne speak Friday night. What they can do now and correlate what they put out advertising wise, all the different ways they do that, and then be able to come back and put a monetary value on that. How much beef was purchased because of what they put out, and you look at those numbers. I mean, it makes a difference. And why some people are opposed, I'm not sure, but I mean, any way that we get good news out there about our product and reach all these people on the coast, in the state or national, I think it's a very good thing. And I mean, as you said, Dr. Sellers, I think personally, adding a couple dollars would be a good thing, but not everybody sees that. Any other questions? I'm going to go in a little bit about the foundation. The foundation was started in the late 90s. Judge Alderman, which is from my neck of the woods, kind of was the one that started that. It was originally started to help generate money to build our office, the current FCA office in Kissimmee. Once that was completed, it has moved on to now its main mission is to promote research and education development. The foundation does quite a bit of scholarships. It does a lot to promote and help fund, along with Florida Heritage Beef, the FCLA, the leadership program. And I'll speak about that a little bit. I had the honor this year of leading this year's FCLA class. A super great group. I think we all learned a lot. I probably learned more than they did. Back to that, promoting the youth and young leaders, and the foundation is truly dedicated to that, as well as the research that we've talked about. One thing I'd like to invite everybody to, the fundraiser that the foundation does is the Ranch Rodeo coming up in September. And there's different ways you can help the foundation. Donations or cattlemen that have cattle, they have a virtual herd, what they call virtual herd, and you can donate proceeds from a calf to that herd, and it all goes to the foundation. Any questions on the foundation or how it operates?
I have been someone who uses of the foundation sometimes. They had a strong program in promoting not only but also environmental services, not only the research side, but on the promotion. In fact, today was one in a court meeting, and I can remember it was 32nd people where the daughter was riding the horse and the promoting the wildlife.
They still do. They do the wildlife. They also do, like, and I had it in my notes, I forgot it. But like heritage and the history, that's still big, and they've archived a lot of the interviews with older cattlemen, which I think is really neat to preserve those. But yeah, the wildlife enhancement, and that the wildlife thing goes from county to a state to a national level. That's what we all need to be concerned and watching, and we're all of us are about promoting that, protecting and preserving it. But on the other hand, we still have to produce food, so it has to be that balance. Ona does a very good job here. You still have the wildlife, but you're growing grass and raising cows, and we need to make sure that's sustainable.
I felt that program was we don't need to reach our team to all the we are there. But it goes beyond, right? It goes to somebody from the world, to show a little bit more, and we were open, I think, to
Well, that's on the environmental and food producing. One thing I always say to all the people that ask the questions is, you know, it's not going to do us a bit of good to have the most pristine, clean environment in the world and starve to death in the process. You know, we've got to reach that balance where we can stay in production, producing food, whether it's cattle, citrus, vegetables. We've got to have it all. And the influx of people, we've got to feed these people. And you guys help us do that. So, thank you. You're up.
You guys have
Or
about
any
10,
questions?
15 minutes. No questions here.
Well, our next point is talking about our FCA website. And you got two of the most not techie people right here in front of you. But pretty much Dusty, Holly, and I'm sure there's more, they've done a great job with our webpage. And there's pretty much anything on there that you need, if you can surf around long enough, you can pretty much find whatever you want to on there, all the way up to joining, you know, and it's a very good resource that I don't use enough, but I would encourage everybody else to use. Like the calendar of the upcoming meeting, it's got stuff, it can tell you what's happening. We're pretty planned out for a year, and some point, like with the convention, we're planned out 2 or 3 years out. So it's pretty informative is my point.
Yeah, one of the neat things on your on the website is the internships, the opportunities for young people
Yeah.
to spend some time working on a ranch and doing different things. It's a big list.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunities.
I mean, that's very good.
Yeah,
Couple
and
of years.
another big thing and it's still evolving and as they're working into it, but like when we did the dues increase, and thank you to President Wallace for getting that done. I think that really needed to be done, and part of that was because we needed to bring on people like Anita Whalen, and I mean she's invaluable with what she does to help our industry. But with that technology, same way they can, it kind of formalized or made all the counties the same. There's been so much difference between counties, and it just brought more continuity and a lot easier to track. It's been very, very, very helpful. I think the members have liked using it as well.
Just a little bit more, we'll skip down to the membership side of things. Wes touched on our dues increase in 2020, and I'll just speak for Hardee County. There were some of the older generation that couldn't quite understand, didn't know, and wasn't gonna do it, and when they got educated on it, they were all in, and that was good. It was a little bit of a process to get them there, but with the increase of our staff, and we also hadn't had a dues increase in 20 years, and I'm sure there was something said we had one of the, everybody else other states have been increasing their dues over the years, and we have not. And so it was time, obviously, and with the progression and evolution of everything, you know, we were able to bring Bonita on, even the Southern group, also to have some more money. On the membership side of things, because of the dues increase, we lost some members. It took a couple years to kind of get it back, but we're right at total members is 3,937, but some of those members are couple members. They're not, it's just registered as one. So we're over 4,000 and the breakdown on that is about 3,026 the FCA side. The West talked about the junior side, and our membership there is at 593. That's pretty impressive to me. And we got 308 allied members and 10 collegiate. So our membership it's on the climb back up from feeling the effects of the dues increase. And, you know, it's one of the things we try to preach. It's our industry's voice, the state level and the national level, you know, to promote and protect our industry and what we do. And It's very important. You don't have to own a cow to be a member. Anybody can join, and it's, like I said, it being more important now than ever, being plugged in to Tallahassee and to Washington, D.C. is more important than it's ever been.
And with the membership, I mean, each county has a lot of members that don't actually own cattle or they work for allied industries. But I heard this said Friday night, and I think it was said very well. As we move forward as a state, I think the association needs to work hard on, as we do and have been, but it's going to be more and more concerns over property rights, water rights. And even though people don't own a cow, they may own land. And that's where we do a lot of work in preserving those property rights or protecting them or warding off some of the legislation. If anybody ever gets a chance to read it, and Sam sends it out for us to read, if you read some of these bills that are sent before the legislature, they're scary. They're truly scary. So, I mean, the more members we can get, the more support we'll have in Tallahassee. And moving forward, I think that's even more critical, just from the property rights standpoint. You got anything more? Any questions?
Yes, sir.
Say the last part again, the age? Oh, 4-H. Well, the junior cattlemen, their list is long. They do, for years until this year, they have a state competition at the convention, which is like team marketing, speech, public speaking. There's a whole list of competitions they do. And then they have the junior cattlemen shows around the state. I think there was 500 or 600 animals a week or two ago in Tampa. I mean, they stay busy. And then a lot of them are also affiliated with 4-H or FFA as well. And then we've had some conflicts with FFA, with the Cattlemen's Convention and the FFA Convention. We're working hard to try to get that on different weekends or different weeks, because there's a lot of families that have to be in two places at once.
And are they registered under their parents, or do they have their own membership?
Their own membership.
And then you have like a discount or something for the week?
That is. It's all on the website. Yeah, all that's on the website.
What is the age bracket for junior cattlemen? You know what it starts at?
7 to 21. I'm not sure on that. I can find out, or it's on the website. But I
Okay.
believe that's it.
Okay.
Is that right? You're shaking your head, yes? It is. Okay, I got it right.
All right, y'all have about 5 minutes. Any other topics to go over?
Yeah. Any other questions or anything y'all want to talk about before we close? Oh, come on. There's brilliant minds in this room, y'all.
Sitting out there.
You got to keep it at Dale and I's level. Don't get too.
They're all out there.
Yeah. All the brilliant people are out there. Oh, you're on my side. You're worried about lunch. And wrapping up, just on if everybody has marked their calendars, we've got the heifer sale coming up the end of the month, the 26th in Arcadia. I want to talk a little bit about the committee, the guys and gals on that committee have done a really, really good job this year. I think it'll be a first class set of heifers. So if anybody knows anybody that's needing heifers or would like to consign heifers, we've met our consignment level that we have to have. But they have done a very, very good job putting that together this year. And then in September, we have the quarterly meeting at Howie in the Hills. The FCA Cattlemen's president, Holly Newsom, that's her neck of the woods. So we'll be up there the 15th, 16th of September. And then in the end of September, the following week or the weekend is the Ranch Rodeo in Kissimmee, the 23rd and 24th. Invite everybody to come to the rodeo and watch the cowboys. And with that, I don't have anything else other than questions.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I've got a few announcements for some upcoming events that we would like to share with everybody. So I'm going to share those. And you guys that are joining us on the webinar, this is your last chance. If you have anything that you would have liked to have heard today, a topic to discuss or a question that you're curious about, please enter it in the GoToWebinar panel. And after I read off these announcements, we will go through that. So the first thing I'd like to welcome you all back for is our September Ona Highlight. And that one is going to be on Monday, September 12th. So that's different. Normally we're on a Tuesday. That is so we can hear from Mr. Chris Pravat. He is a State Specialized Agent 3 here at the center, and he is going to be speaking on managing beef cattle production costs. And again, that is September the 12th. The next South Florida Beef Forage event that's coming up is the 2022 Winter Supplementation Seminar. And that's going to be held at the Arcadia Stockyard on September 22nd. It's an evening program starting at 6 p.m. And it's going to be a good one. So you guys need to register for that. And that, if you need more information, contact Bridget Stice. Another event coming up is the Beef Cattle Reproductive Management School, and that is October 11th through 13th, and it's going to be held at Hilliard Brothers Ranch, and that's going to involve some hands-on experience and some class sessions and networking opportunities, and there's a limited number of registrations there, so if you are interested in that, you want to get into that really soon before it fills up if it hasn't already. The last event that I'd like to mention is on October the 20th, the Cattle Management for Women program, which this is like the third or fourth year that this has been held, is going to be here at the Research Center. It's a full day program. And although it says Cattle Management for Women, they are open to anyone attending. So if you're interested in that, you'll want to register for that soon. And if you don't already do so, you want to follow us on Facebook and Twitter and check out our YouTube channel and check out our website as well. And if you don't get the weekly news on Fridays, please send me an email to ona@ifas.ufl.edu and I will add you to our email list. And I don't have any extra questions. Is there any extra questions from the audience? No? So we thank you so very much for being with us today.
Thank you for having us.
All right, so that concludes our webinar, and we hope to see you in September.